So you found the skeleton. How would you tell people that it's you personally? How would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hey there YouTube, the Dapper Dinosaur here. This is an unusual video. On Saturday, August 8th, 2020, I was on a live stream with TD Lane on Speed of Sound of Gravity's channel. Links in the description. And one of the things we talked about was a recent paper by Raw Matt. For those of you who don't know, Raw Matthew is a member of the Standing for Truth Brain Trust and frequent contributor of editing services, video scripts, video narration, and authorship of horrendously formatted Google Doc drives, which are then turned into books simply by printing out the pages, truncated and embedded hyperlinks and all, and putting them between two covers. I wish I were kidding, but I'm not. He is well known for once guest moderating on Modern Day Debate, while wearing an Egyptian headdress, no shirt, and rather than moderating, simply flexing into the camera. In fact, it was so bad that James, who in my opinion already does not do enough moderating, had to apologize and institute a new rule that for people who set up their own debate and moderators, there would have to be 2 moderators to avoid such a mess in the future. Now, normally, I follow the rule to never attribute to malice that which can be attributed to incompetence. Given that Raw Matthew has demonstrated that he doesn't even know what n in a statistical analysis is, as shown in the video linked in the upper right, I attribute nearly everything he does to monumental incompetence at English, video editing, science, and math. Now, the first time that I began to suspect something more than ordinary but relatively innocent ignorance on the part of Raw Matt was when he was found to be deceptively editing videos on YouTube to cut out portions that he had been called out so badly on that even he was embarrassed by them. Fortunately, some people who follow the SFT Brain Trust closely are on top of this stuff and quickly download their videos so that the original, and even worse versions, of them can be preserved for posterity. And of course, for the lulz. Now we come to the actual subject of this video. What you are seeing on screen is a PDF version of a paper by Raw Matt called Antediluvian Patriarch De Novo Mutation Rate, which of course is an actual nonsense title. That's not a title that conveys any meaning. Mutations don't have de novo rates, never mind a patriarch de novo rate. However, I want to bring your attention to the PLOS Biology logo. This is the logo for the Public Library of Science Biology Journal, an online peer-reviewed open-access biology journal. By putting this here, Raw Matthew is claiming that he was published in this journal. The problem is that, according to a source I cannot name but who works for PLOS Biology, while it was submitted, for numerous reasons, it will not be published by them. Without even reviewing the content, which is in the works but will need more than this cursory video, and will be a collaboration between myself and several others, we can see that this paper is simply garbage from the word go. The citations are not only improper, but many of them simply don't exist. For example, there is no such work as Jeanson et al. 2015. The only citable work from Jeanson I can find at all is from 2017, and is Replacing Darwin, which has no co-authors. That is not the only fake citation, but it is the most glaring, as this paper is essentially nothing more than Raw Matt's fevered distillation of that work. A distillation done without tossing out the foreshot, I might add. Further, the formatting is horrendous within this document, with text highlighting, center texts, and the use of bold for emphasis. Also, the digital object index number at the top of the page no longer works, returning the result, "This content has been removed by the author," for reasons we are about to get into. What you are looking at now is more or less the same paper, but it is the version most widely available now. While the body of the paper is, as far as I can tell, identical, the header is quite different. The PLOS Biology logo is gone. It seems this new version was uploaded around the same time as my stream on Speed of Sound of Gravity's channel with TD Lane, and at about the same time that Just a Walking Fish, link again in the description, posted about this same topic on Reddit. The banner seems to be gone because Raw Matthew realized that not only was it dishonest, but it could open him up to a trademark violation case. Him publishing with that logo is legally about the same as me trying to sell a laptop I Frankensteined in my kitchen with an Apple logo on it. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, and this is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, seek out the services of a licensed attorney practicing in your jurisdiction. Still, though, it's not hard to see why this is a dicey situation for Raw Matthew, because even if PLOS Biology were to publish his distillation of pig feces in written form, by attaching their name and logo to it beforehand, he is making a fraudulent claim. That is, that he had already been published by them. Interestingly, it seems that while I was writing the script, all versions of the paper have been taken down, and now they only exist on the hard drives of some interested but antagonistic parties, such as myself, and in the form of 2 PNG pictures of the original PDF. Notice that the DOI is gone. While I cannot say for sure why that is, I suspect it is because the DOI simply linked to the original PDF file, and since once it's uploaded with a DOI, you can't really edit it, RawMatt removed the PDF from the DOI system and removed the DOI from his subsequent version of the PDF. Now, if RawMatt had bothered to call attention to these changes and apologized, I wouldn't be making this video. But as we've already seen from his selective, and never mentioned, edits, RawMatt does not make retractions or publish errata to his own works. He just tries to sneak corrections in as if he had never made a mistake in the first place. While this may not be legally fraud, it is academic fraud, and would essentially disbar him from ever being taken seriously in academia. Let's contrast this with the work of people who actually do take science seriously and aren't just flat earthers who are better at geography, which is what young earth creationism is in the final analysis. On many of my videos, the pinned comment is corrections for mistakes I have made. If I make even minor errors that I do not catch until the final edit, I put on-screen corrections, so that it is obvious I made an error and have corrected it. Take a look at Trey the Explainer or Tony Reed, both of whom have more than one video just dedicated to correcting errors they have made. We who care about science and truth are open about our mistakes. We admit them readily and openly, simply offering our apology at the mistake and affirming our desire to be accurate, even if it is the case that as fallible people, that won't always happen. RawMatt, by contrast, has, to my knowledge, never done any such thing. So here's where I do something I am usually loath to do. I want to ask something of you, my audience, any fellow content creators who may watch, as well as any creationists who may watch this. We need to demand a public admission of this fraud from RawMatt before he should be platformed anywhere else by anyone. And standing for truth, that means you too. By uncritically associating with RawMatt, you are tacitly approving of this level of fraudulent behavior, and it is absolutely unacceptable. I would also ask that we demand that RawMatt affirm that in the future, when he makes corrections to his videos, he 1. Admit so openly in the video description and a pinned comment, and 2. Make the original video available as an unlisted video linked in the description, so that the original claims can be seen so as to make any corrections less ambiguous. Now, fair is fair. If he actually admits to this fraud, apologizes, and makes the above correction to his behavior, I don't see any problem in saying that the problem has been corrected and that anyone should feel free to associate with him to whatever degree they like, and that in no way should his past misbehavior be held against him or anyone who associates with him. Normally, I have no particular use for public apologies. They are usually for thought crimes and almost never sincere, and usually never actually accepted by those demanding them. But this is actual academic misconduct, and further, I think more highly of my audience, my fellow content creators, and frankly the creationists out there, than to think that all of us would not accept an apology followed by an actual shift in behavior. Last, I want to say that I absolutely do not want anyone to harass RawMatt. Do not dogpile on him, do not abuse him in speech or text. Keep your comments and chats polite, and do not spam his channel or any other channel on which he appears. But do feel free to leave a few comments or chats asking about this. And if you are someone who is thinking about having RawMatt on, I implore you to only do so if you are going to bluntly ask for his explanation and apology before getting into any other topics. And failing his giving it, or linking to where he has already done so publicly, simply remove him from your show. Thanks for watching this somewhat strange video. Usually there is a whole lot more science in my videos and a whole lot less pointing out the misdeeds of others. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you plan to demand RawMatt publicly fix himself, let me know in the comments, because I hope I am not alone in this. Also, I want to give special thanks to Deadly Dakotaraptor, Evograd, Nesslig 20, and Dr. Dan Stern Cardinale, Creation Myths, for doing research and script editing for this video. Thanks for watching, but before you go, I'd like to give a special shout out to all my channel members and my patrons on Patreon, especially the $20 and above patrons and members. Bent Hovind, Ian Chen, Chris Love, Henry Hutanen, and Bob Knob. Your support allows me to keep making these videos, and without it, I would have to stop. If you're not already a channel member or a patron, there are links in the description for how to join either on YouTube or on Patreon if you like. But if a monthly donation isn't right for you but you'd still like to help out, there are a number of ways you can do so. First, every like, share, and comment on any of my videos really helps me out with the algorithm. And second, if you'd like a more concrete and monetary way to help out, there's a merch store linked in the description as well as an Amazon wishlist. I'm the Dapper Dinosaur.
How would you tell people that this? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.